Okay, so out of all the intellectual heroes, what is the one thing that resonated the most when it comes to the connection economy?
Seth Godin, because he made me understand, and actually it's reinforced every day when I read his blog, but he made me understand that through the power of the internet, you have the ability to develop the means of communicating you as core, and that what I have to offer is of great value to people. But that value only becomes manifest once I've communicated what I have to offer. And I've deliberately applied what I have to offer to benefit the lives of those people. So you should treat people in that way, even though you've not met them, as though they were, your closest friend. They're sitting in the same room as you. Use the power of connections through the technology, through the human condition today, and the importance that technology represents for humans, and seek to make people feel their lives are a little better off having met you. Let me tell you a story. I went into an immigration client meeting today. It was an unusual one because it was an off-site meeting. We have a relationship with a professional firm here that have relationships with clients, and they refer their relationships who have immigration problems into my firm. So the CEO of this publicly listed company asked me in to meet with a client of his. So I met with this client, and this client was having a big problem for him, and spent about the first 10 minutes of our meeting. He was describing his interpretation of the problem, which of course from his perspective, because it's his interpretation, was the experience. Now I'm listening to it and I'm thinking, well, actually I've got a surprise for you, because when I start talking, I'm going to confirm some of what you're saying, but I'm going to contradict some of what you're saying, and I'm going to deliver a message to you that's ultimately of great hope. So your biggest fear is not going to be addressed. So it became obvious over the course of 40, 50 minutes that he was increasingly getting more and more pleased with the outcome of this meeting. And then it came to fees. So I went through the fees, and then, as I always do at the end, and I said, and you get a 200% money back guarantee. And he looked at me, and his face changed completely, and said, let me get this right. You'll do the work, I'll pay you the money. If I don't get approved, I get double it back. Yeah, that's how it works. He said, that is absolutely amazing. And I'd had a second opportunity to, in a sense, surprise and delight. I hate that surprise and delight because I don't think you can do that via the web, but you can do it in person. So I had a second opportunity to surprise and delight him there. And this guy's a professional marketeer. So he knew exactly what I was doing. He'd never heard of it before, but his demeanor towards the scenario changed completely, because I think he was thrilled with the advice that I'd given him, but he didn't know what it was going to cost him to implement it. And so people have this question mark. Over that until you have that discussion. It's natural, right? When I then told him he got a double your money back guarantee, he realized that it was a totally risk-free proposition, and his demeanor changed. He was beaming completely. So that was the second thing. And then as we began to wrap up, the CEO that had invited me in mentioned my idea virus, the visa geezer. See, we do all the work for his firm as well as the work for his clients. And so he knows what I'm all about. When the words visa geezer were uttered in that room, this client, who'd had 2 surprises, looked at me and he said, "Are you the visa geezer?" I said, "Yes, for my sins." I said, "By the way, that's an idea virus," knowing that he's a marketeer. And then he almost fell over himself. He said, "Well, I know you from the Hong Kong Mums." He said, "You appear on Hong Kong Mums," which is a Facebook group. "You appear all the time. People are always talking about you. And I've said to my wife, who's a member of Hong Kong Mums, I should contact that guy." So there we have a classic example of, Seth Godin's ideas coming to the fore, which is to take advantage of your opportunity to connect. And when you've done that, both in an online and an offline fashion, you get an experience like I had today with this guy, where I surprised him on 3 separate occasions. And he had gone into that meeting not having any idea what it was all about, other than the fact that someone that he trusts and respects had asked me to come and sort of have a conversation with him to help him solve his problems.
Absolutely amazing how all of these combine together. Well, thank you, Stephen, for sharing with us the backstory of how it all originated and all these concepts.
Well, I like, and I always have liked, talking about my favorite subject, which is Hong Kong immigration. But increasingly, I'm getting kind of, good at this thing called intelligent content marketing. So I'm really enjoying this idea that I can share with people not only my Hong Kong immigration knowledge and know-how, but also what I've learned in the last 6 or 7 years, and encourage and support others to go through that journey, because the world is changing. And if you're wanting to do well, you've got to adapt to the change. It's just the reality. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So talking with you today gives me that opportunity.